great. Yeah, absolutely. And some great legislation came out of that, of those riots, and we appreciate that.
No, I mean, we were the first. I mean, we, and you guys appreciate this, we banned defunding the police in Florida, right? Because it's like, yeah, most people realize that it's suicidal to do, but, any city council could end up with 3 bozos on it, right? And they can do stupid things. And so we basically made it so that if they did it, the money would go back in. And because ultimately, the citizens are the ones that are going to have to pay the price. But then we also provided real strong and clear rules about public disturbances. I mean, look, you can go in front of the governor's mansion and scream and MF me or whatever. That's fine. Like, the minute, though, you make an action against law enforcement, we're in a whole different ballgame. You don't have a First Amendment right, to chuck objects at law enforcement personnel. That is going into a riot. You don't have a right to shut down roads. And we've, I know they tried to do it with the Hamas people. Miami police, they got them off very quickly. Our highway patrol got them off, etc. It just doesn't happen. We don't allow that. It's so disrespectful to other people, right? If you are surrounded by a mob, and the media hates this, but you have these people, the mob will surround their car, they're like a stoplight, and they drag the person out, start beating them. You are under no obligation to just sit there and take it. If they're doing that to you, you can flee to safety. And they go, oh, you can just run over protesters. No, you're not a protester if you're in the street banging on someone's car and threatening their lives. Big time penalties for going after law enforcement. And incidentally, while we're here, and I've said this the other day, but I'm going to reiterate it, Florida is not Portland. If you're attacking any law enforcement, but specifically ICE, with what the rhetoric that's out there about these folks, trying to engender hatred and attacks against them, you try that in Florida, you're going to wish you didn't. We're going to be very swift. We're going to be very severe in countering that. You can sit there. I actually believe that, we should have a border. I think the law should be enforced. I think if you come illegally, that you have to have a mechanism to enforce the law. I can tell you, if I showed up in France illegally and tried to work, they'd kick me out very quickly. So that's just my view. But if you have a different view, you know what? You can go and try to get the laws changed, right? But the ICE agents are fulfilling the mission that are in federal statutes. You have some people that don't like that. And so rather than try to actually win an election, and oh, by the way, you lost the election in part because the border was open. And so the public rejected that. So if you don't like it, you got to work to change. I don't think you'll be successful because but to take matters into your own hands and to try to, and they wanted to assassinate the ICE agents. They were firing into that van. It hit one of the illegals, but like they were going for the ICE agents. But some jurisdictions, they turn a blind eye to this. It's like, you can have all these disturbances, you can riot, and in Portland, they put you right back on the street like the next day. That's not going to happen here in the state of Florida. So I'm proud of the legislation we did. I think it's protected law enforcement. I think it's protected the public tremendously. And I'm glad that we were the first ones and probably the only ones to have done all that anywhere in the country.